Everybody still in now? Now you're in on your laptop?
I'm in. This is Chris Robbins.
Nope, not
I'm
talking.
in.
Nope,
I couldn't-
I got you, Chris. I'm just making sure Julie's in now. So now we're just gonna wait for this to say it's recording. It's live on YouTube. So you're in now, Chris. I think Julie just got bounced out and hopefully she gets back in.
Yeah, my computer initially said it wasn't getting a signal. Now I'm on my iPhone.
Okay, we lost Julie for a second, I think. Hopefully she'll be back on. She's logging in under her computer now. So then we got everybody on. So this should be quick once Julie logs back in.
Yeah.
Hello, Sam. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we're being recorded now. Everything's going on great. So just, hi, Sam. I don't know if you can hear me. Hi, who else is there? Hi, Claire. And we've got our panel. So just waiting. Julie was on her phone and then just got bounced out. And now she's trying to get in on her laptop. And then we'll call the meeting to order once she's back on.
Yeah, Marika, you might just have to move her to the panelist.
Yeah, I just promoted the panelists.
Oh, there she goes. Okay, so now she's, hey, Julie, welcome back.
So the recording has also started. So
All right,
whenever
wonderful.
it's on,
So now that we have a quorum, I'm just gonna start the meeting. I'm gonna call the meeting to order at 7:21. We didn't have a quorum, we had some computer problems, so that's why it took so long to get on. So I'm calling the meeting for the Southborough Economic Development Committee for Thursday, August 13th. Pursuant to the Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, general law, chapter 30A, section 18, and the governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the Economic Development Committee will be conducted by remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information, the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and/or parties with a right and/or requirements to attend this meeting can be found at the Towns of Southborough's website at www.southboroughtown.com. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to watch or participate in the meeting may do so in the following manner by finding the meeting at www.southboroughtown.com/remote meetings. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on Southborough's website and audio or video recording transcript or other comprehensive record proceeding as soon as possible after the meeting. Done. All right, so meeting's been called to order at 7:21. The first thing on the agenda is the vice chair report. So as everybody knows, we got to start using the selectmen instituted the town email policy in May. I just want to make sure that everybody's using it now and has no problems with it. And if they do, they can contact Tom LaFlamme and he could help you guys set up your account or make sure it's working properly. Moving forward with the emails, anytime we have a meeting moving forward, when we post a meeting, if there's anything we're going to be discussing, if at all possible, I'd like to get it posted with the agenda. If there's any documents to be discussed, and then moving forward after that, if we have any documents that have been changed, I want to make sure that document gets sent out and we discuss any changes in the meeting. So that way we're more open and perceived as open, not that we haven't been, but I just want to make sure that moving forward. Second thing on my vice chair report, I have listed on that is goals for 2021. If everybody on the committee could think of like 3 to 5 things that tangible things that are easy to get done or hard to get done, or things we want to try to get done in FY 2021, I think it'd be awesome. My goal, I don't know if I've told everybody this, but my newest thing, I'd love to get a little pop-up park down on Corderville, you know, the second best town in Massachusetts. Just saying, my side. I wouldn't mind getting a little pop-up like they have in Ashland there. And I've talked to a few people and just things like that. You know, we can talk more about that once I have it on agenda, if I can figure out how to do it. But if everybody come up with like 3 to 5 different things, and I'll put that on next agenda and email them to me, and that way we can talk about, maybe we all have the same thing. But I like how the selectmen did that, and they had what their plan for 2021 would be and different goals. And I think that'd be great for us. All right, moving on from that, members and updates on other boards and committees. That's me. So I was going to update the planning board on Monday about Judy, hiring Judy, and that she wants to have some type of a meeting to just see what the town will or will not be willing to do or moving forward on that. I got ill during the middle of waiting on the meeting and I had to bail. So I sent an email stating that Judy wanted to have a meeting with a couple people from Select Board as well as EDC and planning, just to find out what they are willing or not to do. I didn't attend the meeting because I wasn't there, but I did get the transcript off of YouTube afterwards, which, by the way, is awesome that you can pull down transcripts. It's all written. Unfortunately, that's every and ah that you say, so I'll try to be more precise. But the gist of it was, Donnie Moore, the chair, his concern was that the Board of Selectmen wouldn't be interested and nobody else would come if we had it, and blah, blah, blah. So the Board of Selectmen actually have talking about downtown on their agenda on Tuesday's meeting. So I'm going to be at that meeting and pretty much tell them the same thing. And I forwarded Marty the same email that I had sent to planning just about 10 minutes ago, just before this meeting started. So he'll have the same information. And then some of the different things that they were saying, they thought it looked like a subcommittee. And that was, looks like Donnie and Andrew and calling it a niche and a subcommittee, and they were worried that was going to be a bunch of meetings. It's not that. It's more just looking for a collaborative document that we can get through town meeting. That is all. I think they just didn't understand what it was. So I'm on their next meeting. I'll get a standing spot on their agenda. I think I'm going to ask Judy if she wants to come, that she can ask them any questions at their meeting that she might want to know, or maybe they'll answer or not. But again, they seemed, one of the comments they did, like, I didn't look, I'm looking for it. One of the comments was that they're looking to pull in members of other boards to do what they're supposed to do and basically do our job. No, that's not what we're looking. We're trying to help them do their job on something that they asked us to do a long time ago at a meeting. They asked us at a table, it was the chair and Andrew and Phil Jenks said, hey, we don't have the bandwidth for this. Would you want to do it? So I got a little confused on that, but we're not looking for anybody to do our job. We're looking to do our job correctly. So hopefully I'll be able to explain that better to them when I get to speak in person with them at their meeting. So that is my update on the planning board that I didn't get to attend. And I drafted an email, but again, I'm going to wait till after I see what the selectmen are going to talk about or have their questions for me. And then maybe I can answer everybody's questions. Maybe they'll answer my questions for me and how they want to proceed and doing things at Tuesday's meeting. And then as far as as any other boards and committees, that's pretty much it for me. Julie, I know you wanted to talk about the master plan committee that you're our thing on. So did you still want to update the committee about the master plan?
Yeah, there's not, we haven't had another meeting since I last talked to you, so I don't really have much else to report. Last meeting we went through the survey. They're putting together, some like an outline. So I think there's another one coming up. I need to look and see when the next one is. I don't really have anything to report today though. But yeah, we should keep it on the agenda.
Okay, yeah, I'll keep it as a standing thing for member updates on other boards and committees. Update, so if that's it for updates on boards and committees, I guess I'll have Marika give her a coordinator report real quick.
Sure. I just want to update everyone on the grant program. So unfortunately, it's taking a bit of time to get all the details from, I guess, the Department of Housing and Community Development. So we don't expect any companies to be able to apply until like the end of August, maybe early September. We are waiting for, details about eligibility, which are pretty important, and also the whole application process. In the meantime, I have about 30 companies on my mailing list, so I'm keeping them informed, and I told them, don't expect to be able to apply before the end of the month. And in the meantime, as soon as I get information, I send out emails to them with updated information, so they are aware of that. And I think that's about it.
Marika, did you participate in the DHCD Zoom meeting earlier this week?
No, I wasn't even aware of it, actually.
Okay, Southborough probably applied underneath MAPC.
Yes, correct.
So there probably was someone from MAPC. They went through the whole program, how to be reimbursed and things like that.
Okay.
But the key thing that I took away, and I followed up with my regional director for Billerica, was that HUD was not going to come out with any type of document, not at the end of August, but more than likely the second week of September.
Oh, gosh. All right.
So one of the things that I have had to do in Billerica, because my town manager and board of selectmen know about it, is
Mhm.
create a draft application to collect some of the basic information, such as the narrative as to how the business has been affected by the coronavirus. So when HUD comes back with some of that stuff, like you need to document taxes, or you need to have an acknowledgement that this isn't a duplication of funds, I already have a stable of people who can apply and can
Yeah.
go after the money. And I wasn't sure if that's something that we wanted to consider in Southborough, just so we can at least begin getting some people to provide some of that information before we have an official application.
Yeah. Well, it's hard because we don't really, I mean, there are a lot of questions, right? I mean, for instance, what income are they going to be looking at? Is it the income of the particular business, or is it the family income? But I mean, as long as we don't know those questions, then I think it's hard to kind of do a selection of enterprises.
Get away from the pool, sorry.
So yeah, I think I'm going to reach out to our to MAPC, that contact person, and maybe to Ashland, and see what they took away from that Zoom meeting.
Yeah, I saw Beth. I saw that Beth was on there too. So
Yeah. Okay, thank
Hey,
you.
this is Chris Robbins. Is it okay for me to jump in?
Yeah.
Please.
Okay, I have heard so many different programs that are being offered, like the Small Business Association. And now we've got a state program that's trying to be implemented. Do we have other programs that local businesses can take advantage of? Because I think there was a listing in the newspaper of people who got Small Business Association, which is a federal program that they can apply for. I may not have the right exact information, but I don't know if anybody is familiar with other programs other than the one we're currently talking about.
Yeah, I read something about the SBA having a program, but I'll have to kind of look into that, like who would be eligible, and then see if we can advertise that and see who can apply. I mean, I think they have to apply directly, but yeah.
I have a question on any type of, if anybody's heard anything. So one of the companies or clubs or whatever you want to call it, the Fayetteville Athletic Association, it's a long time club that's off of Central Street. My wife's grandfather used to go to back in the day. It's been there forever. So they had reached out trying to see if they could qualify for the grant. They have one employee. They're trying to pay, their biggest thing is all they have really is taxes and such in the town, but they've been shut down. They, it's kind of it's more of a bar type thing that serves food. I had looked into trying to see if they were eligible for anything. They had talked to Lori Esposito, and then I had talked to Lori in the building department to see if she could find out anything else about what plated is. And plated means it has to be cooked in the kitchen. You can't send it out. I know some other towns around have made changes in that. Has anybody else heard of any leniency towards, these, well, I'll call it a fraternal order, more than a club or a bar, because it's more like a fraternal order, like a VFW or an ambit, or something like that. Has other towns done anything to help them lax the rules or change the rules or the requirements on whether they can order food. Like I know some of the other towns around us have been letting them, and the breweries have been letting them order food from pizza places and bring it in, and that's been counting towards it. Does anybody know anything like that?
That's a good question though. And it sounds like, one, I think it should be pretty easy to find out how other VFW type places are operating in other towns. And also maybe an opportunity for us to help them make a connection with the business that's, struggling right now for some more takeout.
So I have called some of the VFWs to see what they're doing, and they all have they have restaurant license or a different type of a license where they have a kitchen and they have all this. Like one of the different things that would have been a bigger permit that they would have had to have a kitchen, and then they would have had to have meet special criteria for the building and such to have it meet that. So I don't know my question was more, is anybody, like you said, that we could get takeout from some of the other struggling businesses? I know for like Rose Garden, they did not choose to do outdoor seating because at the time that we had put that in, they went with indoor. And she was saying her takeout business is down to about 25% of what it was. So they're struggling. And I'd like to be able to figure out anything to help out some of these people. Like I can't think of any place else in town that has been fully closed, unable to open until more than like the Fayetteville area. I might be wrong if anybody has any other.
Tomaso has not opened up. They opened up briefly and then closed again. I mean, I don't know that Tomaso is the best fit for the club, but they haven't reopened. They're not planning to reopen until September. They just get too much of their business from the business parks. And Ola has done a pretty good job in that same plaza, but especially with Olympus leaving, Bin Bin in has also not been opening there. They still have their Marlboro location open, but they're not open in Southborough.
Yeah.
They're using their kitchen, but yeah, I don't know if Bin Bin would want to do that or not, or
Again, I don't even know if the legality of being able to do it, if there's any way who we'd even talk to about trying to adjust these or any of that. But I just know they're one that they're not able to open, at all because
I have, has the club applied for the PPP through the SBA? Because
I'm not sure, but I will reach out to them and ask.
Yeah, because I do know that nonprofits can do it.
But that's only for payroll, right?
Yeah.
See, they only have one employee and he's part-time and all he works for is tips as the bartender. The rest is just they're trying to offset taxes and things like that for town. So
see, that's where this micro enterprise could be, because
they applied. I know they're going after that money.
Oh yeah, at 10,000 for them would be perfect. The one thing that the money can't be used for that has to do with alcohol is a liquor store. And so if this is a club that is serving alcohol like a restaurant or type of bar, they should be eligible, at least based upon what's been up on the web. But if bars themselves cannot technically open, I'm not sure if there has to be like some flexibility, as you say, on the Southborough side.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. That was my only one on that. Any more update on any of that from you, Marika?
I know that's it for now.
Okay. Let's see, Claire's on it. So next on the agenda then is a consultant, an update on the zoning article, the village mixed use, and then update on wastewater study. Marika, I think you said you wanted to give the update on the village mixed use.
Yeah, right now it's nothing really. Judy Barrett has been contracted, like we stated before, so she's still working on it. She did reach out to see if she would like to meet with a couple of people from town to kind of have an idea how far everyone wants to go with making changes. So she had requested organize a meeting with some members of the planning board, maybe some Board of Selectmen members, and the EDC. So I think I will try. I tried to reach out to her today by phone. I couldn't get hold of her, but I will speak with her, and maybe I was thinking we could have a Zoom meeting with her, kind of understand what she's looking for, and maybe get her on the first planning board meeting, which unfortunately is only on September 14th. They're not meeting for that. But at least she can ask her questions and kind of understand where they are with the zoning.
So are you going to reach out to planning and ask them specifically if she can be
No,
on their agenda earlier, or are we just going to use that as part of our standing update?
yeah, I think we should just, use it, get her on the existing planning board. I'm not sure if they will organize a separate meeting just to hear Judy Barrett.
Oh, I know, but I
so-
didn't know if we had to have them, if they're going to want it as a separate agenda item, or if
Yeah, I mean, I'll reach out to them and say, look, Judy Barrett would like to be at the meeting, and then they can decide whether they want to put her on as a separate agenda item or just put it under the DMUD status update, which they have.
Perfect.
But at least she'll get her information, and then we'll take it from there. And now that we don't have probably not going to have a fall town meeting, I think it should be fine in terms of timing.
Good.
Yeah. So that's the zoning.
Okay. Wastewater study?
Hey, guys, can you hear me?
I can.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Hi, Claire.
so the RFP that was created for the wastewater, I had sent that to Mike Moorhead because of working for an engineering firm. I thought maybe he would be able to send it to somebody there. That didn't work out as such. So I sent it to Brian Shea, and that didn't work out too well. Let's put it this way. I just didn't get any response back. Okay? So where we are with it now, Mike Sullivan, who some of you may know because he's Cornerstone Sullivan, he's designed about 75% of the septic systems here in town. He knows the town. Paul Pazinski, who I've been working with very closely on this, has a lot of respect for his credibility. But it's not Mike's, Mike just reviewed it as a favor to me. And in terms of, is this kind of like the type of RFP that you would send to engineering firms looking for the type of information that we need? And Mike thought that it was broad enough. I don't want to use vague enough, but it was broad enough that an engineering firm bidding on it wouldn't be led down the wrong road. Well, anyway, so as part of the process, which I learned, is that an RFP needs to go through Mark Purple. That was fine. So I sent it to Mark, and I followed up 10 days later, and he referred me to Lori, who does the review of all of the procurement documents. Lori
Esposito?
Yeah, she
she's
has
awesome.
been excellent. And what it turned out is that she said, this particular thing, you need to focus it. So the first part of it, instead of, you need to like narrow it down to what would be the cost for an engineering firm to just do the feasibility study. Now, as you guys know, I did a pre-feasibility study, which was presented to the Board of Health, and they said this is really good. And then the next step was to have firms do a feasibility study, which Laurie said you need to narrow that down to about, what is it that you can get for $10,000? Because the reason is that if you're going much more than a feasibility study, and it gets into what is really an engineering study, that's a whole different ball of wax.
I thought we were only looking for a feasibility study for the wastewater in there.
Absolutely, but I totally agree. And if you read it, that's exactly what it has in there. What she said that you can't do is have things like what's included with an RFP, where you have criteria and you have, kind of like you have criteria and you have measurements and this, that, and the other thing. I can't say I totally understand it, but the fact
Stop.
that, is anybody going to bite you, John? Is anybody going to bite you in the background there?
I'm sorry. No, I tried to mute quick enough. Somebody must have come in the front yard. They just both took
But
off
the
that
thing
way.
is that Laurie is very, very familiar with this. This was the first week I talked to her because she received this on, I don't know, Monday or Tuesday from Mark.
So if you change this to a feasibility, when you rewrite the RFP, we're going to need to vote on that again, I'm assuming,
It's-
correct?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And that's a very good point. And essentially, it's not a big deal, and I'll have the thing ready Monday.
That's fine. I just want to make sure that we get to review it in time. and then we can vote
Absolutely. And if you're gonna meet next Thursday, then
If
just,
we need to, we might need to, because, yeah. If you have a different document and you can,
well, I mean, yeah, it will be.
and I will have a quick meeting.
The
just
next
for that.
time, yeah, exactly. So, that's where it stands. This was all stuff that I didn't know. Lori is absolutely on top of this and knows everything that goes along with it. When I had initially sent this to Mark and told them that this was, I never knew that it was as involved with this, but that's okay. We're just following the procedures.
Yep, I'd rather,
Essentially, guys, here's the thing. There's a procurement document which says if it's under $10,000, you don't have to do an RFP. And there's all these, as the amount goes up, there's all these regulations, and I was fully aware of those. Well, then it turns out that there's a whole other set of regulations if at some point, so let's say, for example, just so that you guys know, and I'll go through this real quick. Just let's say that you could get the feasibility study done from an engineering firm, and I've got a list of the ones that have been recommended by a variety of different people, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so if that's the case, then this would be for feasibility. Then what you need to do is there's a whole other process that it has to go through. If it's going to be an engineering study, I'm not exactly sure what that process is. I have a pretty good idea of what it is, but we'll leave that for another session. Okay?
absolutely. Let's get the feasibility
Yeah.
done first, and then we'll go from there. Okay,
Yeah.
so once you have your new RFP or whatever you want to call it for the feasibility study, I'll have it on the agenda for next week, and we'll vote on that. Then
And I'll
once we
send it
see
out to you guys ahead of time, and I'll let you know who's approved. Paul Pazinski has been absolutely fabulous
that. Okay, so, all
in terms of working with it.
right, so we'll watch for your new RFP for the feasibility study for next week. and I'll get
Hey,
that out.
stay tuned.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Okay,
Sarah.
anything else on that, Claire? Moving on? 'Cause the
No,
game
that's
starts in
it.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Moving on, administrative business, approval of minutes from the 30th of July, 2020. Has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes? Do I have a motion to accept the minutes as written, or does anybody have any changes they'd like to make or talk about in discussion?
I'll make a motion, or I don't know if I can make a motion. Can I make a motion?
You can make a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of July 23rd.
All right. Do I have a second? Chris, Rob,
I second it. This is Chris.
Ms. Robbins, all right. So we're gonna do a roll call vote on, any discussion on the minutes? If not, I'll take a roll call vote. I'm just gonna go as I see on the screen. So, Rob,
Rob Anderson, yes.
okay, Julie,
Yes.
Mr. Robbins,
Yes.
and myself, John Wood, aye. Minutes passed unanimously. So that's done. Unfinished business, real quick. I talked to Vanessa again, about somebody taking being our recording secretary and taking our minutes, which I think is a great idea. Like I had said before, we had talked about $75. She's reached out to an employee whose hours have been cut and that person's interested in it. But now they're talking to the department head on that, and Vanessa hopes to get back to me shortly, as well as the person that's interested in taking the minutes. I was going to talk to them. So the only question on that they had is, would they have to attend all the meetings? And I don't believe they do, as long as they can take the minutes from the Zoom meeting. And what's great about the Zoom meeting, if you go on YouTube, you can get the transcripts right there. So I don't have a problem with that. We can talk about that later on when we vote, if that person decides they want to accept being our recording secretary. But that was their only concern. So that is it for unfinished business. I have no new business in front of me. And do we have any public comment? I think the only person in the public is Mr. Stivers. Sam, if I don't see you raise your hand, I'm going to assume you don't need anything. So I believe there's no public comment. And I think that's a wrap then, folks. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
All right, I have a motion to adjourn by Mr. Anderson. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, roll call vote again. Mr. Anderson,
Vote to adjourn, yep.
Ms. Conley,
Yes.
and Mr. Robbins.
Yes.
Okay, that sounded like a pretty good affirmative. And myself, John Woods. So we are adjourned, folks. Thank you so much. I will post a meeting for next week to review the feasibility study, the new one, RFP, and potentially, hopefully, vote on hiring somebody to take our minutes at that point. And again, if anybody, I'd like everybody to send me 3 to 5 things, goals for FY 2021. They can be big. They can be the white whale that we're chasing down. They can be something as simple as my pop-up park. And we'll go from there. And everybody have a wonderful night, and go Bees.
Excellent.
Thank you,
See ya.
John.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take
Thank
care.
you. Thank you, John.
Take care, guys. Thank you.
Great work. Thank you, Marika. Welcome home.
Thank you.